Today, we're reviewing the $399 Ledger Stax hardware wallet. Using 7 different categories, we'll give this device a final score out of 100. How will it stack up? Let's find out. The Ledger Stax comes in the largest box I've ever seen for a hardware wallet, potentially by orders of magnitude here. Seriously, it feels like stepping back into Blockbuster as a kid, although that box fit its content. Once getting past the nostalgic packaging, we're met with an incredibly sleek and modern design. This thing is super thin. So thin, in fact, that if turned sideways, it practically disappears. The premium materials, lightweight build, and unique curved e-ink screen give it a futuristic feel, while the compact size makes it easy to hold and carry. All made in Vietnam. Speaking of the curved screen, the box design actually mimics its shape. A nice touch. The 3.7-inch grayscale e-ink touchscreen is responsive with capacitive touch and even features like sound feedback for a more modern experience. It's wrapped in an aluminum frame with a plastic back cover, an ultra-thin plastic anti-glare screen, and embedded magnets for unique functionality. These built-in magnets let users stack multiple Ledger Stax devices together, which is a pretty cool idea in theory. But at $399 a pop, I'm not sure how many whales will be stacking these up on their bookshelves. One of the standout features is the magnetic shell case included with the device. While it looks great, it does slide slightly when using the device with one hand, and most times the device will be used without the case anyways. The magnet is surprisingly strong though to keep the case on, as shown here. Another unique part of the Stax is the ability to name the spine of it, just like a book. Do note that the spine is blocked with the magnetic case on, which essentially makes its purpose strictly for traveling or storing it. As for color options, the Stax only comes in graphite. In terms of connectivity, the Ledger Stax supports Bluetooth 5.2, has a USB-C port, and is compatible with NFC, for reasons explained later. Battery life is solid as well, offering up to 10 hours of normal use or around 150 transactions on a single charge. Plus, it supports wireless Qi charging, making recharging effortless for those too lazy to pick up those heavy cables. Overall, the Ledger Stax blends premium design with innovative features. The Stax scores an impressive 10 out of 10 in design and build quality. Inside the device, we'll find everything needed to get started with the Stax. The device itself, the user manual, a USB-C to C cable, 3 24-word recovery sheets, although I was only given one, and the magnet shell case. Nothing unique here with packaging or layout, but the included case is a bonus. 7 out of 10 for unboxing. Before setup, be aware the following software requirements are necessary. In a quick note here that Chromebooks are not compatible. Ledger never fails to give a user-friendly walkthrough of how hardware wallets work. We then get the option to set up with Ledger Live Mobile, Ledger Live Desktop, or without Ledger Live. Let's try without Ledger Live and see what happens. Then set a name. For me, Aldaron, of course. Something noticeable is that the touchscreen isn't as sensitive as I'd like it to be. I had to be very deliberate with the presses here, making me retype multiple times. It could be that the letters are too small or something to do with the e-ink screen sensitivity, but I'd love to hear the reasoning from Ledger themselves. Next, choose a pin to stop physical brute force attacks in case someone steals the device. Do note that typing the wrong pin 3 times after creation resets the Stax to factory settings, but the seed phrase still exists. Just restore the Stax using the created recovery phrase. After that, set up a new wallet or restore an old one. Props again to Ledger for simply explaining what a seed phrase is and that it's the key to your crypto. Never take a picture of it or store it on a device such as a computer or a phone. Always keep it offline, but not within range of pets. The dog ate my seed phrase won't apply here, so back it up with something such as a crypto tag or a Shield Folio Stonebook. Links below. Write down all 24 words onto the recovery sheet. I'd advise also being away from a computer or other devices that have a camera. If for some reason a scammer has access to a camera in your house, they could scope out your seed phrase and potentially steal it. Once finished, we're prompted to confirm some of the recovery words on the Stax. After confirming, Ledger reminds us again to never share or lose our recovery words. So long story short, I wasn't able to find out how to use the Stax without Ledger Live. Although we created our recovery phrase and key, it seems we would need to import the seed phrase to something like MetaMask or MyEther to start using it. If that sounds interesting, give it a try, but it kind of defeats the purpose of a hardware wallet. Back to Ledger Live we go. Download the app. Accept the data prompt, which can be turned off if needed in the settings later. Set up your Ledger. Stax. Okay, as we mentioned in the Flex video, Ledger asks for location, but this is due to the type of Bluetooth used, called BLE or Bluetooth Low Energy, which requires location services to scan for Bluetooth. Ledger staff confirmed it will be removed soon. Pause this page to read their feedback. Pair the Stax to a mobile device. We've already completed the first 3 steps, including the genuine check, which cryptographically confirms our Stax has not been tampered with. 2 blockchain apps will be automatically installed now: Bitcoin and Ethereum. Once through setup, we can view a few of the settings on the Stax itself, including renaming, lock screen timers, one that I increased, sounds, Bluetooth, NFC, which is turned off to start, battery settings, and other useful features. And after the app stops celebrating like we've completed a Duolingo session, we can finally access Ledger Live. Ledger does well to give a transparent walkthrough and setup experience. But along with taking longer than other wallets to set up, it's also a bit more complicated for new users to understand initially. 7 out of 10 for setup and ease of use. In my opinion, Ledger Live is the best hardware wallet companion app. View crypto assets such as tokens and NFTs. Remember when Bitcoin was at 105K? Those were the good old days. Users can also stake to earn yield, buy, sell, swap, and receive. To do all of the above actions for each blockchain, we'll need to wait for an account to be created. The customizable lock screen is a fun experience. Even better is that it doesn't need to be an NFT. Choose any image from your gallery and confirm. Clicking the Discover tab has many different third-party dApps such as 1inch, MoonPay, and others that can be connected to for more options. In the settings, choose the desired language and currency. Also, be sure to add a password lock for an added layer of security to the app. And about data tracking, anyone can turn off analytics and personal experience data, which is something I will do for peace of mind. Ledger has so many unique features, great UI UX, and an overall solid experience that is still unmatched when compared to competitors. 9 out of 10 for app and user experience. The Stax is compatible with 50+ wallets for managing thousands of tokens, DeFi apps, and Web3 assets. Plus, we can install up to 100 apps directly on the device, letting us access countless blockchains and features. At the moment, NFT support is only available for Ethereum and Polygon. But there are rumors that Solana NFTs are coming soon, as they just recently added support for Solana tokens. From what I've seen with other apps, Ledger has some of the most diverse offerings of tokens on the market. 9 out of 10 for token integration. Let's start off by saying no Ledger devices have ever been hacked. Period. An immaculate track record being in crypto security for over 10 years now. We're gonna go deep in depth here, so bear with me. Let's dive into 8 key parts that make Ledger's security approach to hardware wallets completely unique to its competitors. The Stax is powered by the CCEAL 6+ blank secure element chip, with the same level of security found in other Ledger devices. So far, the Ledger Nano X has been independently certified by ANSI, a French government standard for cybersecurity certification. The other wallets, according to staff, are pending due to a time-lengthy process. Ledger's blockchain open Ledger operating system, say that 3 times fast, is a custom-built multi-application OS designed for security and flexibility. BOLOS, as we'll call it, runs on a secure element chip, ensuring each app operates independently, isolating sensitive data and reducing vulnerabilities. Additionally, BOLOS enables Ledger's signature and genuineness mechanisms, allowing users to verify their device's authenticity. The chip also controls what appears on screen. For crypto wallets on laptops or smartphones, hackers can manipulate transaction details remotely if the device is compromised. Hardware wallets solve this by keeping private keys isolated from the internet. But most hardware wallets use an MCU or microcontroller chip to drive their screens, making them susceptible to firmware tampering or physical attacks, as we saw in the old Trezor devices. A hacker could alter transaction details on screen without needing to access private keys, tricking users into signing fraudulent transactions. And that gets us to clear signing, a crucial security feature that makes sure a user fully understands and verifies every transaction before approving it. Blind signing means approving transactions without understanding them, such as with the Bybit hack. Ledger's clear signing solution eliminates this by displaying transactions in an easy to read format, showing which dApp a user is interacting with, the intent of the transaction, transaction and which assets are affected. Additionally, the Stax warns users of any transaction that cannot be fully verified, flagging it as a security risk. Take the time to verify and you won't regret it later. Most Ledger products are open source, including Ledger Live App, Wallet API, Secure SDK, embedded applications, the OS command dispatcher, and entry points of Ledger recovery implementation. However, Ledger's operating system, BOLOS, is partially reviewable and verifiable due to the NDA agreement with the maker and provider of the secure element chip, ST Microelectronics. The company uses a renowned third-party security laboratory to audit their operating system entirely, and these audits are conducted before every OS release. An added feature of the Stax is the ability to act as a security key, such as a YubiKey using FIDO2 standards. This means we can log into apps and services securely without needing or remembering a password. At the moment, I've been unable to get it working on Google or Twitter, but it could be a cool feature if and when it starts working for me. Ledger Sync allows users to securely synchronize their list of accounts across all Ledger Live apps while maintaining full privacy and control. It enables seamless management of encrypted data without compromising security. Once Ledger Sync is set up, any changes to accounts, such as adding, removing, or renaming, will automatically update across all connected devices. And lastly, Ledger Donjon is an internal security evaluation lab to conduct both internal and external security assessments and to work closely with Ledger's firmware and hardware teams. Donjon continually tests both Ledger and third-party products to ensure maximum protection, as we'll see later. They defend from the following attack vectors: software attacks, side-channel attacks, and fault attacks. Additionally, they implement security hardening techniques to protect Ledger servers and stored secrets. See more on their GitHub and blog. In totality, Ledger provides unmatched effort and resources dedicated to security. As another hardware wallet co-founder recently told me, Ledgers are security maxis, and all facts mentioned above proves this. 8 out of 10 for security. Now there's plenty of positive feedback when Ledger's name is mentioned. Superior design and build quality, an industry-leading app with the best UI UX, packed with features, unmatched security and never hacked directly, low transfer fees, extensive token support, and much more. How about negative actions occurring over the years? Again, bear with me, as we have 6 more headlines to discuss. The Ledger Stax was first announced in December 2022, generating the most FOMO I've ever seen for a hardware wallet, with an estimated 20,000 pre-orders. Initially, shipping was scheduled for Q2 2023, but delays pushed the actual launch all the way to May 2024. That's a delay of over a year. One of the biggest hurdles was the screen supplier, as e-ink display providers are rare and notoriously expensive, as confirmed in a conversation with another hardware wallet CEO. To make matters worse, only 3.5 out of 10 screens met Ledger's quality standards from the old supplier, further slowing down production. Throughout the delay, many customers grew frustrated with the lack of updates and communication from Ledger, making the wait feel even longer than expected. Adding insult to injury, multiple users also canceled their order due to frustrations in my comments alone. So who knows how many were canceled in total? A data breach in July 2020 resulted in the theft of approximately 1 million customer emails, as well as 10,000 users' postal addresses, names, surnames, and phone numbers. This was due to unauthorized access to Ledger's e-commerce and marketing database. As we'll see, this mistake continues to be Ledger's biggest PR hurdle to this day. For reasons that are hard to justify, researchers claim that Ledger Live software collects and transmits a surprising amount of data to its analytics provider. This includes clicks, page visits, redirects, crypto transactions, scroll activity, number of accounts, crypto asset names, session durations, hardware device types, and firmware versions. Some can be stopped in the settings, but significant amounts of user data are still being shared. This level of tracking poses a serious security risk, potentially exposing users to extortion attacks. When Ledger first introduced Ledger Recover, the $10 per month backup service sparked enormous controversy. The service uses a 3-step process to securely back up a Ledger user's seed phrase. First, the seed phrase is encrypted and put into 3 fragments, which are sent to independent backup providers. Then, the user must verify their identity with OnFIDO, also encrypted. Lastly, to reclaim the recovery, the user goes through 2 independent identity verification processes. At this point, 2 of the 3 parties will send back their fragments to the ledger device using the same secure channel mechanism. Some users have expressed concerns about the KYC requirements, as well as potential risks to hacking, phishing, and social engineering that could pose threats to the service's integrity. Unlike Ledger Recoverer, a newer option like Rider 1 takes a different approach, allowing friends and family to hold parts of a recovery backup for free, reducing reliance on third-party services but still encrypting the data. Even companies such as BitKey have introduced a similar concept, free of cost. Ledger's Connect Kit, a code used to connect DeFi protocols to hardware wallets, was exploited, affecting protocols like Sushi, Lido, MetaMask, and Coinbase. Malicious JavaScript was injected into versions of the kit, replacing the normal logic with a fake drainer that launched phishing attacks via a fake pop-up window and processed unauthorized asset transfers. Approximately 484,000 USD was drained from user wallets. Some people I've spoken to in the space, as well as users online, think Ledger is trying to crush the competition and convince more people to buy ledgers. Here's why. Firstly, with Trezor. The Ledger Donjon team directly tested the safe devices and gave their feedback. They demonstrated how an advanced voltage glitching technique could bypass Trezor Safe 3's authenticity check, though it requires full physical access to the device and specialized tools. Most importantly, no private keys or pins can be extracted via this attack, and purchasing from official sources greatly reduces this risk. Let's read some of what the community said in the comments. This kind of blackmailing attacks are brutal. No way the industry should approach them, especially with your competitors. You sure you want to throw stones out of a glass house? Is it just me, or is this presented as a collaboration post, but is actually just Ledger pooping on their competition? In contrast, there's comments like, Ledger is the market leader for real. Kudos to @DonjonLedger and the whole team, Purple Heart. Great to see everyone working together to keep users safe instead of the opposite. Kudos. Great work, Charles. Ledger Donjon team is correct. Ledger also found multiple vulnerabilities in a popular screenless wallet brand, which reportedly made recent security changes, but I cannot release any info at this time. So in short, Ledger claims they are doing it for the good of the whole crypto security space. I truly believe that to be the case, as they give each company fair amounts of time to view their findings and make changes if needed. Props to Ledger here for having a full team of white hat hackers finding the best and worst ways to protect our crypto. At the end of the day, it's up to the consumer to form their own opinions with the evidence brought forward. When scanning under any Ledger post, you'll always find some sort of negative comment. But to be frank, a vast majority is about the 2020 email leak. 5 years later, and users are still annoyed. Maybe you could teach them how to protect their customer database in return. One of the biggest regrets is buying a Ledger and then being forever targeted by scammers. Only if Ledger didn't make the 2020 market database breach and offered the recovery service as a separate device rather than a firmware update, I would have kept using my Ledger devices. Charles, your customer database has been hacked. Our personal information and addresses are outside. Stop the Ledger Live spyware too. Clean in front of your own house before ... Before what? All jokes aside, we can't change the past, so props to Ledger for doing their best to comment on every single negative post. All Ledger can realistically do is make sure that another big data breach doesn't happen in the future, and actions speak louder than words. 10 years of a company comes with plenty of good times and bad times, and although Ledger has tried to make amends, it's difficult to overcome some of the severity of these actions. And it seems each year there are poor comms with another major event, which brings public sentiment down again. 3 out of 10 for reputation. Let's compare the Stax to popular hardware wallets. The Nano X lacks some features, such as NFC, clear signing in screen size, has a bulkier design, and no magnets or spine. The lock screen feature is also not on the X. The S Plus lacks all of the above, but also has smaller app storage and no Bluetooth, next to the Ledger Flex. Really, the only differences here are the screen size, the thickness of the edges, the magnet stacking, the wording on the spine, and wireless charging. It just comes down to personal preference here. With the Safe 3, the Trezor wallet's design is much smaller, no clear signing, but is more compact like a Ledger S or X. There are also no extra features, so it's more comparable to the Ledger S Plus. Against the Tangent wallet, we can see the Stax is exactly credit card sized. Remember that Tangem has no screen, which comes with its own sets of pros and cons. Easier setup, but lacks extra security features. And as expected, the Tangem ring is far smaller with the same functionality of the cards. As per usual, the SecuX Neo X dwarfs all other wallets in size. Lastly, next to my phone for final comparison. So after deliberation, the judges have awarded the Ledger Stax 76 out of 100. Look, if you want the most unique and premium hardware wallet on the market, the Stax is the go-to device. It has unmatched quality, parts, and design, as well as the best hardware wallet app out there with Ledger Live. The additional security features such as a security key, secure screen, and clear signing give it unmatched security and usability. But we need to take an unbiased look at both sides here. The $399 price tag is quite steep, considering we can get nearly all of the same features in the Flex for $249, which makes me think the Stax should actually be called the Flex, so we can flex our stack to pay for the more expensive option. Ledger, take notes. It's not too late to change. Really though, what has been the bane of Ledger's existence is PR and comms. If Ledger can go a year, 2 years, 3 years without any major incidents like those mentioned, it would go a huge way towards repairing trust with non-Ledger users. They have the security and team to back it up, and I believe they will improve on this front. So if you're wondering, should I buy a Stax? If you have the cash, I'd say as of right now, there is no better option for a hardware wallet. But if you're weird like me, I actually prefer the simplicity and feel of the Flex more. If you want to grab one, Ledger is having a massive sale. Use my link in the description below to get a discount. A huge thank you to Ledger for sending one over. And come subscribe for more hardware wallet and crypto tech content every week. Get you in the next one.